Ross Tucker. Guys, got to get one more topic in before we bring our guests onto the show. It's brought to you by Mint Mobile. If you're overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no at Mint Mobile. Their favorite word is no. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for just $15 a month. Mint makes it simple. All plans come with a high-speed data, unlimited talk and text plan delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can even bring your own phone number and keep your contacts. If you're ready to say yes to saying no, make the switch at mintmobile.com/LockedOnNFL. That's mintmobile.com/LockedOnNFL. Upfront payments of $45 are required. Limited time new customer offer for the first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on the unlimited plan. Taxes and fees are extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Mike, I really want to follow up on something Ross said. Is it absolutely necessary that we get to this?
Can we save that for do it now? We'll save the turnover topic for after.
Okay. So I felt that was very. I had a kind of eye-opening moment in that it already went with some things I was thinking, guys. But what he said, it all makes sense now. The NFL is an old boys network, and yeah, things have changed a little bit, but not that much. And most of the guys that run the show in these sports are cut from the same cloth, think the same way. Mm-hmm. They want a quarterback to sound a certain way, to carry himself a certain way. And Shedeur doesn't fit the norms that these guys are comfortable with. Because it's just like when I hear Stefanski and Berry and Antonetti and they all talk the same. It's like they went to the same school to learn how to talk.
There's an idea that a quarterback has to be the CEO or be this like presidential figure in terms of how you talk. Like you have to be like all buttoned up and super professional or whatever.
Right. He's right on that. Someone told me that's involved in the game that teams don't want Jameis Winston as their quarterback because he's too playful. And this same person, when I asked, does Shedeur kind of fit that mold? And he said he does in a different way. And Jameis was playful. Jameis was fun. Everybody loved being with Jameis. Everybody. And I think that there's something to what you're saying about how we, in pro sports, we try to put people in silos. You know, round peg, round hole. Quarterback must be Tom Brady. Must be robotic. Must not show emotion. Yeah. All of that. Because typically those are the ones that have won. But there are outliers in this world. And I love the example Ross gave about, coaches may not be impressed by him because in film study, he's making the wrong calls. He's saying, well, I'm going to throw the ball here. And the coach should go, no, that's the last place you want to throw the ball.
But Ross didn't say that specifically.
No, what he said was he might be giving the wrong answers in film study.
Sure.
But he's this rare breed that when you put him on the field, some guys are like this. The game just comes naturally to them. And when they see it in real time, they're able to say, oh, yeah, I need to go here. And he has the arm to put it there.
Yeah.
And I think what coaches and general managers are looking for are these robotic, unemotional guys who aren't the class clown. And Jameis was the class clown. And I think that Shedeur's personality is very similar in that he laughs, he jokes, he loves to have fun. If he can win, he can shatter that paradigm. And he can show the NFL that, look, it is a personality-based position. Well, I understand that, but doesn't mean someone with my personality can't succeed at it. And so he is a bit of a pioneer in that because most quarterbacks are all buttoned up. They're not joking. They're not playful. They're not. And I love the fact that he looked at the camera and he goes, I'm the guy you've been looking for.
We know who his father was.
He's Baby Prime.
Yeah. And so you don't typically see flashy guys at the quarterback position act that way. Doesn't make it right or wrong or whatever. It's just a little different than what we've seen.
It's non-traditional.
Continues to play the way that he played this past weekend. If he's responsible for 4 touchdowns and throws for over 350, he can say whatever the hell he wants.
It won't matter. It won't matter.
We've been saying for years, the Browns, you see these other teams get a guy late, and it's rare that a late drafted quarterback turns out to be good. But it's always like, why do the Browns never get lucky? Why do the Browns? Maybe they finally have because they're. And again, if I'm wrong, I turn out to be wrong. I think it's clear to me based on. I was already trending in this direction, and Ross really brought it home for me. I think it's clear that there's no way this guy should have been drafted this late.
No.
And it was there were reasons why he was that are unfair in my opinion, but nevertheless it happened. I think if it was purely based on talent and his name wasn't Sanders, whatever, he would have been drafted by the second round, no later than that.
One thing that's interesting to me is I read a long piece, and I can't remember who wrote it. I want to say it was a Sports Illustrated piece. I could be wrong. They sort of dissected this, like how did this happen?
Yeah.
And one of the points that we made in real time, but I don't think we've driven it home enough, was last year was the bizarre year where it wasn't a great quarterback class, and really there weren't a ton of teams that were going for a quarterback. There were like 6 to 8 teams that thought we're going to get a quarterback. Probably closer to 6. And some of those took them early, when they took them early. And then it was like, oh my God, he's passed over a second time and a third time. Well, by that point, there were only 2 or 3 teams that were even in the market for a quarterback. And the Browns were one of them. And after, they took theirs in the 3rd round, you thought, well, you could scratch the Browns off the list now. But I think Ross made the point of, at some point, teams were looking at it going, okay, now he's a value. Now he's an asset. Because even if we don't turn him into our future franchise starter, if he gets a look and plays well, maybe we flip him next year and we get a 5th or a 4th or a 3rd for him. Who knows?
I don't know. I'm not thinking about
There
trading
weren't a
him.
lot of quarterbacks that were teams that needed quarterbacks last year, Bull.
Yeah, but
there weren't.
If his name weren't Sanders, he would have been drafted probably.
Well, that worked against him too.
I'm convinced he would have been drafted.
Another thing that worked against him too was he had a thing. Okay, the last guy that had a thing was drafted by Cleveland and it didn't work. What am I talking about? It was a signature.
Money sign.
Johnny Manziel. And a lot of teams, when Cleveland drafted him, they were snickering behind it and say, okay, wait until you see how quickly this turns against him. And
that's what I thought on Sunday, watching it when What's-His-Face was making it in his face. And then Shedeur comes back.
And then the whole defense ran to the end zone and was doing the
But those
watches
same
up.
players that are doing that thing like Shedeur Sanders.
Right. Of course they do.
Yeah. Nobody liked Johnny Manziel.
No, that's not true.
Johnny Manziel's a clown.
Johnny Manziel was a clown, but Johnny had a pocket of fans that were on other teams.
He's talking about the players' respect on the field, I think.
Oh,
Players had no respect
maybe.
for Johnny.
Oh, Shedeur's in the
Even the guys
respect
on the Titans who are mocking him, I think still like him.
100%.
100%. You heard some of the things some of those players said about him after the game.
Yes.
But I do think when you do this and when you do this, you might as well put a target on your back.
Sure.
I'm not saying
Aaron
don't
Rodgers
do it.
does this.
Yes, but by that point, Aaron Rodgers had a Super Bowl.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, the whole point of it was, I've got the Super Bowl trophy now. Boom.
Well, he wasn't doing that before it?
No.
It was after he won the
after
Super Bowl.
Discount double check.
All right, I guess.
And so that's okay. And really, you don't even see a lot of guys like, what was Brady's thing?
Nothing.
LFG. That was Brady's thing. That really was Brady's thing.
Most quarterbacks don't do, and that's why.
That's the traditional.
That's why when so many coaches and so many GMs are cut from the same cloth, it's hard to find teams that are, and that's ultimately what led to a lot
Cam
of this.
Newton.
Right.
Yeah.
Superman.
But Cam Newton was an MVP in a Super Bowl. Went to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.